back to Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 75. Of course, we start at 10-ish. I just got the mark here at 10:06, 10:07, so here we go. Of course, this is the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 75. I am King, co-host Bitcoin Zay. He is still gone handling some business, so he should be back with us hopefully tomorrow, if not Friday. And let's see what's going on, Derek. What's going on in the game, people? That's right. Let me let everybody log on. What's going on? What's going on? Let me get this comment box going as well. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday. What's going on, Sergeant Crypto Antonio? Hello, hello. Tennis, yeah, I already said tennis. You know how it goes. What's going on, Chris Love? All right, and for the folks on Facebook, my Facebook always goes in and out. So if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel at Kirby Crypto, KRBECRYPTO, that is the best way to see us every day. You can turn on notifications. What's going on, Alex? What's going on, Jason? All right, so go ahead and start it off today for the free Bitcoin from yesterday. It was the free Bitcoin yesterday. The winner was Giving Tree Cultivator. It was a lot of great comments on there. I saw a couple people. One person said they would build, rebuild up the shanties in South African, countryside. It's just pretty poor down there. Another person said, let's see, we had some good ones. Another one said, Sergeant Crypto said he's Jamaican, so he's a flashy guy. He want to rub it in people's face. Derek's talking about giving it back to the church and teaching the church. And of course, some people were saying they're not going to do anything or say anything. Jamal said he's doing scholarships and bonding people out. But the winner that we chose is going to be Giving Tree Cultivator. Again, we asked if you become a Bitcoin millionaire or billionaire, what would you do with it? And I just like the way he allocated. He said he'd give some money to the person to get them started. I'm a big business guy, so I'm always about, whoever taught you something to connect to you, you give them, you pay them a little percent. So he said whoever, the guy who got them started, you give them to. People who teach it, he gives stuff to the loved ones. Help out with debt. He said 30% on world-changing businesses, which I like that, something that changes the world. 30% he said he would keep in crypto. And the last 10%, which I think is an amazing answer, he said he organized about 20, or she, I don't know if that's he or she, they said they organized 20 parties in 20 cities to celebrate crypto and decentralization. Big venues, home-style food, open mic storytelling about crypto journeys and displays for crypto projects that are local and stuff. So I like that because, of course, he's getting word out about the crypto communities, which we always need to do so more people know about it. All right, now back to business. Of course, today is Bitcoin birthday, so we did have that little pump. Again, expected. If you watch us, we expected the Christmas sell-off. We expected a small New Year's sell-off. And, of course, Bitcoin's birthday, literally every year you're going to see this pump, people. So next year around this time, go long a day before, a day or two before, when more people know about Bitcoin. But we always get a small pump on the birthday. I think right now where we're at, we have about $722 billion market cap for all of crypto. If you remember yesterday, I think we were about 630 plus million in the crypto market cap. So we officially just touched 722. It's up over 50 billion in 24 hours. Bitcoin is staying at about 35% market dominance. But what's important about all these numbers is that we are on our way to $1 trillion market cap. I mean, it is happening. We are at 0.722 trillion of a market cap right now. So once we hit that 1 trillion, again, they're not going to be able to ignore it. And we're already headed that way with some stories, we'll talk about today. But it's happening. It is, again, people, it's happening. This is the third day of January. And we're at a $722 billion market cap for crypto. That is huge news to start the year with. So what's going on? He said, Jason said Ripple was on that pump. Again, we've always said you can make money on Ripple. Long term, we just don't see how it will survive. But even in the short term, of course, it just has pump. We'll see how long it stays there. The thing about Ripple is if it is going to be used for bank payments and, wiring bank funds, how Swift was used, then I just don't see how it would make sense for Ripple to be a $100 coin like some people are saying. But this is the wild, wild west of crypto, and we will see what happens next. Antonio said, in my mind, we already hit beyond a trillion. Same here. We already passed a trillion. Yeah. If you're looking as far as trading, investing and stuff in long term, a trillion might be here this month, people. I mean, you talk about $50 billion and 50 billion plus in one 24-hour period. Granted, a lot of that money was the money that was pulled out during the holidays. That's just re-entering the market. But we're almost there already. So huge news. Something that helped propel that news, of course, was Peter Thiel's VC's fund that invests millions into Bitcoin. Of course, Thiel, he's the co-founder of PayPal and early Facebook investor. He serves on the board of President Trump's technology advisory councils. So smart guy, good investor, all that good stuff. So where the Stegastores at? You know, we actually had one. I didn't have time to put it in, but we had one for today. But at an investment conference in October, Thiel spoke positively about cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin, saying that while he's skeptical of most cryptocurrencies, I do think people are a little bit underestimating Bitcoin specifically because it's like a reserve form of money. If Bitcoin ends up being the cyber equivalent of gold, it has great potential. So again, that's Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, early investor in Facebook. His VC fund, I think, just dumped like 15 to 20 million in Bitcoin the last few weeks. Another business tip, I always tell you, business is not going to tell you when they do their moves. They're going to tell you once they've done them. So, of course, to the news, this is new news. But if you've been in the market already, it's old news. He's been slowly dumping money into Bitcoin and crypto and digital assets. So it's looking good. Again, we got another mainstream investor on board, another person who has some pull around Wall Street, Main Street, all those type of things. Again, he's in President Trump's council. I'll say it again this year to start off. I've been saying it last year. I tweeted about it. President Trump will mention Bitcoin this year, and when he does, it's going to skyrocket, people. Unless he pulls out a Jamie Dinosaur Diamond on us and momentarily drops it. But again, you have people now that are literally on this. He's on Technology Advisory Council. He's right next to President Trump, and he is investing in Bitcoin with his own private firm. Again, huge. P-Man Van said, crazy, most of these coins don't do anything. Listen, I mean, again, talking about Ripple, the team owns 20% of the token. Others are in escrow and locked away and coming back. So it's just interesting to see where where people come in and spend their money at. So we'll see. Torrance J playlist. You say I got that Bitcoin of the question of the day. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Christine, Happy New Year. Chris Love, Happy New Year. All that good stuff. Merry Christmas, people. Another big thing for the community that's huge, people. E-Trade Financial launches CME Bitcoin's future trading officially. They launched it, I believe, late last night or yesterday sometime. But it's official. So E-Trade, for those who don't know, if you're overseas, I'm pretty sure they have platforms overseas as well. But E-Trade is just a platform you can go on online where you can buy and sell stocks and all that good stuff. But now they're allowing Bitcoin futures trading through CME as well. I believe they already have CBO trading on there also. So again, just more mainstream adoption. More mainstream adoption. That's what we want. Slow and steady. For those who came in late last year, you got a chance to catch the mania phase. But right now, as the year kind of starts again, I think by Monday or Tuesday next week, we'll kind of see what direction Bitcoin is going to be going in as far as if this is going to be pumping or we're going to have this consolidation period for a while. So we'll see. I mean, right now it's already been consolidated for about 4 or 5 days, 6 days. So we'll see what's happening with that. But I think by Tuesday, for sure, we'll have a better outlook on the landscape as far as, hey, is it altcoin season officially? Is Bitcoin about to take off? Because one thing about Bitcoin, people, we keep talking about it. We saw it last time when it did it. Once Bitcoin crosses that, 16, 17, 18K, especially once it hits that 20 to 25K range, when it starts to go up and down, it's going to be going up and down in thousands because that's going to be a small percentage of its daily growth or a daily retracement. So once that happens and Bitcoin is pumping 3,000-4,000 a day or something, it'll be interesting to see what the altcoin market does. Again, it might, I think in the next 4 or 5 days we'll have a better outlook, at least in going into the next month or so. And of course, barring any big news and regulations. Let me see. What's going on with the debt ceiling? Oh, so debt ceiling, they pushed it again to the right. Again, these are things that aren't even in the news. They pushed it to the right. I think this is the second or third time the debt ceiling decision has been pushed to the right. And to me, that is a big red flag that something is wrong in the government right now. And something is wrong. We actually have a story that goes with the value of the dollar as well. But if something is wrong in the government or the money isn't adding up and that dollar starts making people nervous, I'm telling you, the crypto market should go up. And then, of course, one of the questions we asked the other day, I got to go on record and say it again here, this thing with North Korea now. I used to think it definitely couldn't happen. It doesn't make any sense strategically because I highly doubt China's going to let their little brother fall to the U.S. But when it comes to the debt ceiling and then North Korea, which we might see some action on this year, I'll leave that there. But if one of those events happens here in quarter one, quarter two, just expect a lot to happen with the market. So make sure you aren't putting your whole shirt out there if you're not into this full time. And if you are, once it does start hitting those big numbers, you might want to take a little profit to pay some bills for a couple of months just in case, because it's going to be an interesting year. In all this interesting stuff that's going on, I want to just cover regulations as a whole. Again, if you were watching this in December, November, we started calling it. I told you, I said, hey, once the United States and all these governments everywhere, they get back from holiday, I kind of thought they'd wait until after Martin Luther King Day, because that's when things really get rolling. But it looks like some people are starting a little early. But after the holidays, the government comes out with regulations. And we are seeing that not just here nationally, but internationally as well. So I'm just going to do a quick roundup of some of the crazy stories that are going along with this. Of course, I'm sure some of y'all seen, I think it was on Cointelegraph or something, a South Korean law firm has reportedly filed a constitutional appeal over upcoming regulations restricting digital currency trading. So that was Seoul-based Anguk law offices, and they basically are quoted saying the government, South Korea government's regulation is devaluing virtual currencies by making trading very, very difficult. Thus, this is an infringement on people's property rights by the government. Unlawful measure, on people's property rights by the government's unlawful measures. So, kind of goes back to what we said again. You own Bitcoin, and even thinking in a broader scale, you own the right to have money. You own the right to have currency. To me, that's like a human right that you're born with. A government or anybody shouldn't be able to tell you how much money you can make, how much they can print, what they can do with it, what they can't do with it, all that down the line. But a South Korean law firm is pushing back, saying that yes, you all, by imposing these regulations on your market here, is affecting the entire international market and is causing the price to basically, honestly, just causing the price to stabilize, people. And that is what these governments want at this point. The governments, the bankers, everybody, we've said it before, until they figure this thing out, at this point, they just want to keep it where it's at or drop it lower. All right, that is the game. They know they're not going to kill it, but they want to keep it where it's at or drop it further. And of course, that comes with some of these regulatory articles I'm about to cover here. It comes with the taxes they're trying to impose on it, even though literally, 2 years ago, no one was even thinking about it. But now here in 2018, these regulations are starting to roll out. Another big one. Let's see. This is ECB, European Central Bank, governing council member Edward Norton. I can't pronounce his name. Nawalton. I can't pronounce that. But he said Bitcoin should be regulated and even taxed. Again, another regulatory article out. He's quoted by saying it can't be allowed that we've just decided to stop printing 500 euro notes to fight money laundering, that we slap strict rules on every tiny savings club, and then have to watch people blithely laundering money around the globe with Bitcoin. So he actually was the person I was going to give Dinosaur of the Day to. So we'll just make it unofficial Dino of the Day because he called it, he said people money launder with Bitcoin. So many false things in this story. So let me just start from the top. First of all, again, the regulated and taxation part. They can't figure out what to do with it, people. So that is their go-to move right now. Regulated and taxation. We're about to see articles like this pop out every week, all the way probably to April, May. Once we do whatever we're doing with the debt ceiling and the war, that's when we'll start hearing about Bitcoin regulation. But until then, expect these FUD articles all the time. Second thing, which is pretty interesting again. He said we've just decided to stop printing 500 euro notes to fight money laundering. Again, the fact that a government can come in and say this is how much money we're going to print, this is how much money we're going to stop printing, this is how we're going to control the money, they don't have the power to do that. That is a public servant. Governments everywhere, well, with the exception of those places that have dictatorships and kingdoms and all that, but I'm pretty sure in Europe, the government's a public service to the people. So again, for them to come in, this guy's a European Central Bank. He is going to get the official Dino of the Day. Let me get this music going because, really, he came out and said, we just stopped printing 500 euros, which I'm sure the country didn't vote on. But because of that, we also want to regulate and tax Bitcoin. Governments of the world, banks of the world, you had your chance and you failed. You have let everyone down. You have messed up the money supply. You messed up the gold, Canada. We're talking to you. So you failed a million times over again. I'm not sure why they are still trying to do this. Yeah, I'm about to hit with this pterodactyl roar. Don't worry, I'm pulling it up right now. I wasn't going to do it today, but you know what? So let's make this official. What is this guy's name? Because you know I could care less, nor do I really like to pronounce it. European Central Bank member Edward Naughton, you are officially our dinosaur of the day because you are talking outside your mouth. You're making no sense, and you sound like every other old guy in the banking industry right now. So with that, we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and give it to him. 2 times. There we go. He's our dino of the day, folks. Let me see. What's going on, Jonathan, Leslie, Brandon, Coyle, Chris, Vanessa, Dennis. Hello, everybody on the Facebook. So all the Facebook people, one more time. You're on the Facebook. The best place to catch the show every day is on YouTube at Kirby Crypto, KRBECRYPTO. So yeah, that guy's a dino today. And then of course, for people new to Bitcoin, because again, I got this question last week. Somebody was like, "Well, I heard Bitcoin again. You know, they're doing whole Bitcoin's for criminals and it's been hacked and all that." And you got this guy saying Bitcoin is for money laundering. The criminals do not use Bitcoin to launder money. That is so 2016, people. Like seriously, like their new coins are out there are completely anonymous. Bitcoin isn't completely anonymous. It's pseudo-anonymous. Good police work can track down transactions to a certain extent. There are new coins out that the criminals already know about that they're already using, which is not Bitcoin. And these new coins are a beast. You can't trace them. You can't track them. And they're going to be going up in value this year as well. So for everybody who's in tune for privacy coins and all that, exactly. And then of course, cash. Why try to launder money through Bitcoin when you know the government is looking? We can just use JP Morgan Chase and use that good old American dollar like every other cartel has been doing. So again, that's why he's getting a dinosaur today. I mean, we keep hearing this. Again, another FUD article, but had to cover it because unfortunately there are still people in the mainstream who will see this article and will see European Central Bank Governing Council member and won't think about how they've destroyed the world economy and financial system, but instead they will say, well, we must be able to trust them, right? So we have to report on that stuff as well. In addition to regulations, Gigawatt, a startup that held an initial coin offering to raise money to build a cryptocurrency mining facility, is being sued for allegedly conducting an unregistered securities offering. Basically, what's happening is that people are saying that because of the deadlines they set for their roadmap that haven't been met yet, and they haven't given out refunds, people want to sue. First of all, this goes back to the regulatory environment in general. Crypto, like the whole point of decentralization, people, is to be a big boy and big girl, make your own, and figure this out, do your own homework, do your own due diligence. And the problem with this is that people went to ICO thinking they were going to get a quick turnaround, make that quick 50 to 100 to 1,000% return in 24 to 48 hours, and like real world projects. Because I can't remember who's the CEO of Gigawatt, but it's actually somebody who's been in the crypto space for a while, so it's not anybody new. But projects take time. They take at a minimum 2 to 3 years to really start developing and getting stuff out there. So the fact that people are running to lawyers and running to the nanny state and daddy government because the project isn't up to speed as they want it, or they can't get their return right away, they're angry. To me, I mean, it's causing unnecessary attention to the space. And what it's going to cause to happen is for those floodgates to open, as we've already seen a little bit, where now they say, well, no American investor can, if you're an uncredited American investor, if you're a retail investor, i.e. if you don't have $1 million in the bank already or a net worth of $1 million, then you can't invest in ICO here in America, which is ridiculous because, again, I gave the example actually to the law firm that represents Gigawatt, which I'm about to get to, because these lawyers and these group of people who think they're about to sue and win are ridiculous because they don't know who's behind them right now, which I'm about to tell you. But, do your own research. Stop looking for daddy government to come protect you when things don't go the right way, and learn the value of crypto and how everything works. Because if you learn that, then you already know that some of these projects are going to take years to really develop and to come into play. So if you're expecting that quick turnaround, it's not happening. From what I saw, it looks like a group of Florida lawyers and some other people were trying to do the class action lawsuit. But for those who don't know, Gigawatt is represented by Perkins Coie. If you don't know what Perkins Coie is, do a quick Google search. But Perkins Coie represents, I'm not sure they still do, but I know they represent Google, Facebook. They represent Bittrex. They gave us some counsel too. They have some good people over there, so I'm not saying anything negative about them. But I can tell you last year when the cryptocurrency space was still fairly new to a lot of people as far as mainstream, there was only about 10 lawyers in the country of the United States who dealt with crypto as expertise, and about 4 of those lawyers were housed at Perkins Coie. So Gigawatt, of course, had them do their ICO, which I can tell you up front cost a ton of money for them to do. And if they stood behind it, again, you trying to sue Gigawatt is not going to work if that's their legal team. I'm telling you that now. They represent like the Democratic National Convention amongst other people as well. So it's not happening. Again, all you're doing is bringing more regulation into the space, and you're going to end up shooting the entire community in the foot with it. It's unfortunate. This is the Wild West. You're going to lose some money. You're going to make some money. But keep learning and keep finding the things that have value as you go, and you can reduce those the chances that happen. So, yeah, bro. Look, this say you shouldn't put money into the ICO expecting a guaranteed 10,000% return. Yep, especially now. ICOs are a crapshoot. Sergeant Crypto said a bunch of Mitches. Here we go. Sergeant Crypto said last time I checked, drug dealers and gun runners still use the almighty dollar. They do. Yep. Torrance said guy told him he wouldn't buy Bitcoin because of hackers, so he told him to stop using the internet. Exactly. It's ridiculous, but it kind of goes to show again, people, when we're talking about how great this year should be, and I think 2020 is going to be even a bigger year than 2018. So really, that's how far as our timeline is already looking. Like in 2016, we were looking at 2020 and 2018. So that's our timeline as a small mom and pop over here. Okay, I'm telling you, these big companies and banks and stuff, they're looking 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the road to figure out how they can play this and how they can make these moves. So with that being said, we are all still early to the space. Even right now with people buying Ripple at $2 or $3, if you can believe it, people buying Litecoin $300-400 last week, we are still very early to this space. So, that just goes to show. Everybody's looking at the FUD, they're looking at scary articles. There's still a lot of people on the sideline. There's a lot of money on the sideline. As soon as Bitcoin hits 1 trillion, once the crypto market hits that $1 trillion market cap, hopefully in the next, 5 to 7 days, the news stories will start heating up again, the positive will come back, and more people buy into it. So we shall see, though. You say, I don't think venture capitalists run to lawyers all the time when things don't work out. And you're right. So P-Man Van just made a great comment. He said, I don't think venture capitalists run to lawyers all the time when things don't work out. But, and that's the point where it's unfortunate I have to say this, but I get it. That's the point the United States government, that's where they can rest on to know that they can push this stuff without consensus, push these regulations like, well, no retail investors. Again, retail investors are mom and pop. That means you have $999,000 and $999.99, but not that full 1 million. But that's why they made these rules to say unaccredited investors and retail investors can't invest in ICOs or investment funds, because they know when these retail investors, which are the majority, get burned, because it will happen. There's always a fail rate for everything you do in life. They know once they get burned, they're going to run to the government, which is what we're seeing already. So it's unfortunate, but yes, from a venture capitalist, a person who is a credit investor, from a person who has invested, it does suck when you get burned, but you get burned sometimes. It happens. So it's unfortunate, but we shall see. He said Filecoin. Again, it's still early. Some of these projects are early. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, another big one was Vice President of Group Nadum. His name was from Papa West's Chiefy Nadum. I can't pronounce it. He's African. He has urged the Bank of Ghana to consider investing foreign currency reserves into Bitcoin. He actually he's urging his own country, Ghana, but he pushed it to about 13 African countries. He said African countries have a lot of cash tied up in USD reserves. If USD, which is the dollar, is projected, if the USD's value is projected to fall again against other reserve currencies by up to 10%, is it really unreasonable to risk 10% of those reserves on an emerging asset that will likely appreciate on the news that these central banks have bought Bitcoin? So basically, this is what he's saying. He's first pointing out the one thing this year that everybody's been saying for like the last 12 to 24 months here and there. And that's the value of the dollar is about to fall, people. Which is why I think the war is almost inevitable at this point, because sometimes it does boost the value of that nation's currency. And yeah, the dollar is going to fall up to maybe 10% this year and next year. Then I understand the war. Dimitri, I was just about to say that as well. Vice President Chifi Nadum, you're doing a great thing by speaking up, but unfortunately, we saw what happened to Gaddafi and the I won't say lies, the misinformation spread about that situation in its entirety. We'll say that. So, but yes, I think that's a great idea, because he's basically saying, all the country's reserves in in foreign currencies, a good amount of that is in the United States dollar. He's saying the dollar is projected to drop 10% in the next 12 to 18 months, which everybody's been tracking. Honestly, I think it might be before then. Again, hence the pushing of the debt ceiling, and again, hence the upcoming war that might happen now. But what's important about that is he's saying that, hey, if this is going to drop anyway, and we have most of our money into this foreign currency, why not take 10% of this and just buy Bitcoin right now? And he did the calculations. I think it was something roughly like if they were to buy $11 billion worth of just straight Bitcoin right now, and it did appreciate. And this is only Bitcoin. If they were to buy $11 billion, 13 of the African countries with 10% of their money that's in the USD currency right now, then he says if it does hit 100K in the next 3 to 5 years conservatively, then they could make $55 billion on that and not lose money, versus holding it in USD right now and risk the possibility of losing 10% of that money. So he's saying with just 10% of that money, we're going to lose anyway. Put that into Bitcoin, give it 3 to 5 years, and see where we're at. I think it's a great idea. I think more banks might need to adopt that already if they want to survive, although I hope they don't. But I mean, that's the market has spoken, people. $722 billion market cap. The market has spoken. Crypto is here to stay again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me take a peek at some of these comments. Let's see. You said just heard some chatter. I'll give you all a chance to shield your coins at the end. Hold on. Richard said good morning. He's in a bad situation. I started a month ago with the strategy of flipping alts to enough to buy Bitcoin. My opinion is, if you're trying to trade, that sounds like you're trying to trade. First, you need to be available 24/7 to do any type of day trade in this market, because things happen fast. And secondly, if you are learning to trade, start off with a little bit. I did get suggested that we might be doing like live streams where we start off a little bit and show people how to trade, just like the basics. But yeah, start off with a little bit, even more than a little bit now, because of the price of Bitcoin is crazy. I mean, I remember when, you sound old, but you talk about 0.1 Bitcoin, it wasn't that much money, but now it's like 0.1 Bitcoin's a lot. So you should be looking to trade depending on how much you have, and only making maybe 1% or 2% on that entire portfolio, maybe a week or something. Like, just literally play around with it just to learn everything. So start with a low amount of money you don't mind losing. That is my opinion. Let's see. Only time they can't come gangster away to go. Oh yeah, yep, when it's about to go. It's gonna be a explosive year for crypto. That is true. Max Kaiser said that once the central banks break the cartel and start to buy Bitcoin reserves, and the cartel is dead. Oh yeah, that's why they're not doing it. Again, that's why the government hasn't mentioned Bitcoin of really any country. The government itself hasn't really said anything about it. And then they might say blockchain, or even now they're saying they're saying data ledger technology or something, which is basically another fancy word for blockchain. And it's another reason why central banks haven't said it as well, because as soon as they start mentioning it, it's a real contender. So they're just ignoring it. They're trying their best to ignore it, but we're about to approach $1 trillion in possibly a week for the market cap, so they won't be able to keep ignoring it. So we'll see what happens. Yep, billions of dollars worth of Libyan gold just poof. Hey, same as Iraq as well. So they're trying to do it to Iran. So we'll see what happens. But terrorism, I mean, yeah. Let's see. Still didn't look into our IRS 1031 tax update to crypto swaps. I haven't looked at it either, but I know they're going to be updating. Again, these regulations are coming out. The IRS should be pushing out some more stuff here in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens with that. You said day trading is pretty much dead if you live in America. That is false. Oh, you said unless you want to get taxed 20 times. That is true. The Venezuela president is going to soon be back in his crypto, oil, and precious gems. Of course, in Russia, we saw the article. Russia's talking about having a crypto ruble. They've been talking about it for a while. Of course, they're not going to publicly acknowledge it, but they did bring in Ethereum's created Vitalik Buterin for a reason, people. And they're doing that to get around, United States sanctions, Western sanctions, and all that type of stuff as well. So we'll see what happens. But it looks like that's about all the comments. Let me go ahead and get this free Bitcoin out. Okay, so this is a shout out to Steve in Toronto. Steve's a great guy. He watches us as well, and he shot this email over about a curious question. Here is a chance for you all to shill your coins, in quotations, for the free Bitcoin after the video, of course. If you have $500 to invest, I know some of you have more or less, whatever, but let's just keep it simple. With a $500 investment, what cryptocurrencies would you buy? How would you allocate that portfolio with $500? Of course, again, after the video, put that in quotations in the comment section. Put your public address with that as well. And tomorrow we will pick the winner for it. What we may do is occasionally start coming on a live stream on YouTube and having a small portfolio like that to show people how to trade it or whatever. But we will see, because again, this regulatory environment is interesting, people, and I don't want no parts of it. So again, that's all for the show today. You can follow us at Kirby Crypto, KRBECRYPTO. YouTube every day. Make sure you subscribe, 10ish, as well as you can see us on our Facebook page, website, and Twitter and Instagram. So we'll be having a lot more updates, a lot of good stuff we're enrolling in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you're tuning in. And of course, thanks for all the great support. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care.